What is going on, everyone? It's Nero again, and welcome back for another episode of Dear Nero. Now, Dear Nero, if you're watching Dear Nero for the gameplay, you're doing it wrong. This Dear Nero is nothing about the gameplay. I'm going to do a quick cover on this. So basically, there are two gameplays, kind of smushed them together. Both COD 4 matches, both team death matches, and this game we're playing on Showdown using the M40. The next game we're playing on Overgrown using the M16. And they're both by no means spectacular, like mind-blowing, amazing games, but they're both pretty good ones overall, and I think I start off like 20-0 in this game with the M40, so pretty good overall match. Sit back, relax, enjoy it. Let's hop into this week's episode of Dear Nero, and mind you, Dear Nero is a series I do on my channel. Basically, I answer questions, fan mail, if you will, from personal messages here on YouTube, trying to give out some advice and answering some frequently asked questions you guys may send me. So we're going to hop right into it. We're going to hop around it with the first question. He writes, Dear Nero, just wondering, what made you decide to start YouTube? From Max from Sweden. Now, this is a question I've actually answered a couple times, but not everyone sees every video. I understand that. I don't fool myself. I don't trick myself into thinking that every subscriber of mine watches every single video I've ever put out. I understand that. So this is a question I've answered a lot, but I'm going to reiterate it a little bit. So why not? Let's just re-answer it so if you guys don't know. So what originally made me start wanting to do YouTube? Now, I started off on YouTube. I used to watch YouTube for hockey fights and skateboarding videos. And then one day, after playing World of War for about a month and just falling in love with the game and falling in love with the sniper rifles in the game, I just typed in on YouTube one day because I didn't even know if Call of Duty stuff was on YouTube. I'm like, World at War sniper tips. And that's how I found Hutch. And Hutch was just posting these amazing videos and whatnot. It was really cool. And then he started doing montages. And then as I gradually got better at the game, I started like getting these like cool looking clips and whatnot. But I had no way to record. I'm like, man, I want to put stuff up on YouTube like Hutch did. And it took a while. Like we tossed back and forth the idea of getting a Dazzle, because back then a Dazzle DVC 100 was like the highest quality capture card you could get, and it was horrible quality. And then I got like an easy cap, and it turned out horrible. And I ended up getting a Dazzle, which I posted on the Dazzle. I started YouTube overall many channels ago, about in 2009. I started because I wanted to make montages and whatnot, and I gradually just kind of fell into the commentary game. But yeah, that's how I started YouTube. That's how, believe it or not, that's how a lot of your favorite YouTubers started. They wanted to put up montage clips. That's about all. And then it's kind of graduates from there. Now that commentary is like the golden standard on YouTube. Basically, people start YouTube with the idea, with the concept in their mind that they want to go and do gameplay commentary stuff. When back in the day, it was all about the montages. That's just kind of how it goes. Well, let's hop into this next question. He writes, Dear Nero, are you voting for president? If you are, who will you be voting for? This guy neglected to leave his name. Now, this is something I get a question a lot, especially from people who are out of the United States. People in the United States don't seem to care that much about this question for whatever reason. Am I voting for president this year? Yeah, election is going to be in 2 months. I might be wrong about that. No, I'm not, because I pay little to no attention to politics at all. The only thing I know about politics is the fact that I know it's basically Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama, who's going up for his second term. I just don't have an interest in politics. I really don't. Politics has never interested me in any way, and I mean, I'm sure I would register to vote and actually vote, but part of that in the United States is if you register to vote, you are also registered for jury duty, which you can be called for jury duty at some point in your life. And what jury duty is basically, you go to a jury, you go to a trial for whatever, and you're on the jury, and you have to decide whether or not that person's guilty or not guilty, or who wins whatever argument or whatever. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like fun to me. I don't want to go to jury duty. Therefore, I'm not voting. Maybe that'll change. Maybe as I mature and grow up, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too immature or something for politics, but it's just something that doesn't interest me in any way. I feel as though whoever they elect president, nothing's going to change. The only thing a president can do is take us to war, and you basically vote for the guy who's not going to do that. That's my thought. That's my opinion on politics. I don't really pay too much attention to it, though. Next question. He writes, Dear Nero, I was wondering if you've ever been out of the USA. Have you traveled anywhere in the world? If not, where have you been in the United States? Riley from Canada. Mr. Riley from Canada, the only country I've been to besides the United States is your homeland, Canada. And I wasn't even really in Canada. I was at Niagara Falls and I crossed the little bridge back before you need a passport to get in there. And that's all. That's like the extent of my international travel, as I crossed the bridge at Niagara Falls. That's about all. Where have I been in the United States? I really haven't traveled a whole lot throughout my life. When I was real young, the furthest we went, I don't know why, I don't even remember why, but we went and stayed at this hotel in Ohio. I don't even remember where it was. I was super young. I remember the coolest part about it, though, was the fact that there was a jacuzzi in our room, and it was awesome. Other than that, the only other time I've traveled like to a different state would be when I went down to Florida. What year was that? I think I was in 10th grade. I went about maybe 16 or 17, somewhere in that time or that age frame. My mom's grandma, my great grandmother, was celebrating her 90th birthday. And I have a lot of family down in Florida, so we decided to fly down to Florida. Part of that, we drove down to Pittsburgh. I live in Pennsylvania, mind you. We drove down to Pittsburgh, and then we flew to the Cincinnati airport, which, mind you, the Cincinnati airport is in Kentucky. Believe it or not, look it up. That's a fact. And we had like a layover there. And then we flew straight down. I think we landed in Tampa, maybe, I don't know, it was so long ago. But yeah, I went down to Florida and we were there for a week, and my biggest memory of Florida was the fact that it was horrible because of how humid it is down there compared to Pennsylvania, and the fact that we almost died because my family in Florida is pretty wealthy, and they have their own boat, and it's a really nice boat, and we were on this boat, and we went out in the Gulf of Mexico. And we were like 30 miles offshore or so, and we ran out of gas. And there was a storm because there was a hurricane going on at that time. It wasn't Katrina. It was some other one. Either way, it was pretty bad. I mean, the hurricane was nowhere near us, but we were getting like the water was getting real choppy, you know, that kind of thing. And we were stranded out there with no gasoline at all. And it was pretty horrible. And we basically floated around until we got service. And he called up his buddy because he didn't want to bother apparently there's like there's a AAA for boats. If you guys don't know, they'll come out, they'll find you, they'll find you on the GPS, they'll come out and they'll save you basically. But he didn't want to do that. He decided to call his friend. His friend comes out in the middle of the storm and is tossing his gasoline like on this rope. Like he ties the gas can to a rope and then throws it to us. And you know, it's on a rope just in case it falls into the ocean. And we're sitting there doing that. And then once we get our gas full and we start driving, we're just speeding back as fast as possible, trying to avoid this horrible weather. Like, thought we were gonna die. It was pretty bad. And the worst part is we ran out of gas again halfway back because he didn't give us enough gas apparently, and then we had to get more gas, and then we finally made it on shore, and that was the last time I ever walked off land. I've never been on a boat since, and I don't want to. It sounds horrible. But that's my story about my international travel. But I feel as though I spent too much time on that question. Let's hop on to a new one. He writes, Dear Nero, I'll get to the point. I'm in high school and I could care less about girls right now. They are bitches and annoying. I'd rather stick to my schoolwork, friends, and YouTube. Don't worry about girls until you're 20. Do you have any similar feelings like this in high school? Is this okay? He neglected to leave his name. Yes and no. I kind of felt the same way in high school. I mean, there were certain girls throughout my high school career that I really, really wanted to either be friends with or start dating, and I dated the same girl like 3 times throughout high school. It was kind of like an off-on kind of thing. I dated some other girls too. But I never felt this like incessive need that some people feel that I need to be with someone all the time. My cousin was that way. He's like, oh, you always need to have a girlfriend. You always need to be with someone. There are other interests outside of school or outside of girls. Like there's school, there's sports, there's anything else you can be possibly interested in. There's lots of different stuff. You don't need to focus 110% of your attention on just girls. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get a girlfriend. You want a girlfriend, go for it. But I'm saying it's perfectly normal for you not to want to be in a relationship. That's normal, man. You got your whole life to find a girl. And typically, the girls you meet in high school, you don't even, you're not going to, typically, I'm not saying for everyone, but typically you're not going to marry your high school sweetheart. So just keep that in mind. It's okay, man. If you don't feel a need to have a girlfriend, don't do it. It's not a big deal. Next question. Dear Nero, if Call of Duty were to stop being made, what games would you play, and would you keep your NerosCinema channel? I've talked about this a couple times, but this is a question I get, believe it or not, I get this question a lot. What would I do if they stopped making Call of Duty? What would I post? Well, ladies and gentlemen, gaming has evolved so much that there are more than just games. I play more games than just Call of Duty, believe it or not. Right as of now, I'm really into Madden 13, and I'm really into Minecraft right now. Those are 2 games I'm really into, and Madden's never going to die. There's always, as long as there's an NFL, there's going to be a Madden. So maybe I transition to sports games. Will I keep my YouTube channel? Sure. I mean, even if my channel like dwindles down in terms of views because people just lose interest in YouTube because Call of Duty's not there anymore, I still feel as though there would be enough of a following that I could continue my channel with like other games other than Call of Duty. That's just my thought. I would never, like I've said this many times, I would never want to stop my channel because I really, really, really enjoy it. So let's just hop on this. Let's just hop on this. Next question. Next question. Yeah, I'm all over the place right now. If you guys don't know, Dear Nero is a series I have to record at like 3 or 4 in the morning right before I go to bed because the videos are so long and it takes so long to render that I have to let them render overnight rather than rendering them during the day like I usually do. But next question. He writes, Dear Nero, I'm a sophomore in high school and I recently asked a girl out that I've known for many years. My question is that because this is my first relationship, I want to know that we have some feelings between us, and I'm horrible at reading. Let me start over. Dear Nero, I am a sophomore in high school and recently I asked a girl out and I have known for many years. My question is that because this is my first relationship, I want to know some things that I shouldn't do so that I don't end badly because I've liked her for many years. Just to your question, basically what I got from that question is you've liked this girl for many years. You don't want to blow it. That's your biggest thing. I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest thing that you can do right now is to just go for it. This reminds me of a girl that I grew up with, literally. Her name was Erin. Erin, E-R-I-N. Because I know people from my town watch this and might think I'm talking about my cousin. It's Erin Shar, for those people who know me in real life. Her name was Erin Shar, and fuck, I honestly thought I was in love with her, but we were way too young. But I never, this was like, this is like elementary school, middle school time. This is by no means high school. This is before I moved this town. And I always thought I liked her growing up. But I never, I always thought like in my head that she liked me back, but I never made the move to, go for it. I just never went for it. And then my parents got divorced. I moved to a whole town, and I haven't spoken to her in years. And I really wish I would have. I really wish I would have taken that chance when the opportunity presented itself. The biggest thing for you right now, bud, is just to go for it. Some things you want to do to not blow it. Don't dress like a dork that day. Make sure you don't smell. Make sure your hair isn't messy. Little things like that. Just the biggest thing for you, go in there with confidence and just go for it. That is the biggest thing for you, man, is just to go in there and try it, because it's better to have gone in and be rejected than to be in the situation I'm in, always wondering whether or not what would have happened, what could have happened, how it would have changed your life if you would have made that move. I've thought about trying to get a hold of that girl, because by no means am I trying to say I'm in love with this girl. I haven't spoken to this girl in like seriously like 6 years, 7 years. I would just like to talk to her again, just to see where she's been. I found her on Facebook, and she found me actually, because I'm never on Facebook. I get on like periodically, like once a month, and then just accept friend requests and whatnot. And she sent me a friend request, and she has a fiance and a kid now, so that door's pretty much closed. So make the move while you can, bud. Make the move while you can. Don't be in my situation. That's probably the biggest thing. But oh, you see, I think I'm out of questions. See, usually when I do Dear Nero, I pick out the best questions. I will write them down and I put them in a notepad and I read through them while I kind of glance back to gameplay and whatnot. But the gameplay is essentially over. So that has been this week's episode of Dear Nero. Hope you guys liked it. I definitely enjoyed doing this series, and check that out. Where is he? 3-piece to end the game. By no means a spectacular game, but a pretty good one overall. So if you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero, remember to rate the video wherever you guys feel it deserves. Let me know in the comment section below. Did you enjoy it? Because I really enjoy making these. It's by no means, how to tell I really enjoy making this series. It's by no means the most prosperous series I've ever come up with. This is actually one of the lowest, in terms of view count, this series gets next to nothing compared to my other stuff. But I really enjoy doing it. I really enjoy answering questions. I really enjoy the interaction. That's like the biggest thing for me on YouTube, is the interaction. So if you guys like your question feature on Dear Nero, send me a personal message here on YouTube with the tagline reading Dear Nero. Write your question. If it's really, really awesome, or if it's a question I would like to answer that I feel as though the majority of people could benefit from, I'll answer it in next week's episode. So remember to do that. Remember to rate the video. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I was banging 7 gram rocks, that's how I roll. I got one